Hello, welcome to this week's How's the Market, Pensacola. Well, it's first one of the year. 2020 is now officially over. I hope you guys had a little bit of a fun holiday. I know I had a small vacation built in after Christmas just because my wife and I celebrated our 25th anniversary, our wedding anniversary. So we went down to the Keys. Didn't leave the state, didn't leave the country. Just went down to the Keys a little bit, played. It was a little different than what we had originally planned going into 2020, but tell me one person's plans who didn't change during 2020, and you would be talking about an anomaly. Speaking of changing, if you have not been thinking that the real estate landscape is changing some, you haven't been paying attention. In preparation for this show this morning, I was actually reading the journal and I found something interesting. Airbnb. If you don't know who Airbnb is, well, Airbnb is a company that people are renting their properties out and through. If you don't have a strategy using Airbnb, you may want to consider it because Airbnb launched, and you want to talk about how the landscape for real estate has changed. Well, like I said, I was reading in the Wall Street Journal today, and when Airbnb launched, I'm reading the article right here, it had a valuation greater than Marriott International, Hilton Worldwide Holdings, and Hyatt combined. So the valuation on Airbnb is bigger than those three monstrous hotel chains. That just goes to show you things are changing in the real estate world. When you start talking about real estate investing, that may be something you really want to look at, especially here in Florida. If you're going to do short-term stuff, maybe Airbnb needs to be part of your strategy. If you have not bought or sold a property in 3 years, everything has changed. I had somebody call me up the other day asking me about the HUD. Well, the HUD 1 is what we used to call a closing statement. It's now called a closing statement. It kind of looks like a HUD 1, but it's not really. The checks and balances changed. It took us a bit to actually get used to the new form. That came from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So that type changes happen. I've talked to some people who said, well, I've bought 10 houses, but I haven't bought anything in 4 or 5 years. Whole landscape's changed right now. I'm fixing to going over our numbers. I'm going to go over our inventory levels, which are ridiculously low. And I told you that even last week when I was down in the Keys. But I think that the actual landscape of investing in real estate has changed. There are more people doing funds. There's more private money out there. It's all changed. There are some things that still remain the same, but for the most part, the procedure just is a moving target almost. We start talking about some of these loans that have come back, and I say that hesitantly because I have seen some loan products coming back that I used to see very prevalent in '06. Now I see some of the changes, like your stated income loans. There are some of those back. You still have to prove your assets, and the loan to value is drastically lower. I've seen your bank statement loans come back. That makes sense to me, especially when it comes to self-employed that write everything off. You go to look at tax returns, and tax returns may say you don't make anything, when in actuality you run thousands of dollars through your bank account every month. So it makes sense to do those, but again, loan to value is a lot smaller. So there's a lot of things out there that are changing. The landscape, I'm sure, in 2021 is going to change drastically. And I will definitely keep you up to date on what's going on in the market. Right now, let's get over here and talk about our 2 counties and the ridiculously low inventory. Let's go. All right, so for those of you who have never seen the show, I always started off with this slide. This slide basically says if you have between 6 and 7 months worth of inventory, we have what they call a neutral market. Less than 6 months is a seller's market. Greater than 7 months is a buyer's market. What the slide does not say, less than 3 months is considered a hyper seller's market. Greater than 9 months is considered a hyper buyer's market. We're going to start straight off with Escambia County, and if you look over here on the left, is the numbers, the purchase or the list price. On the right is the month's inventory. So that goes to show you what type of market we're in at each price point. And just like for the last few weeks, everything up to $700,000 in Escambia County is a hyper seller's market. First-time home buyers is tough, between $100,000 and we got a little bit of inventory between that 250 and 300 since last week, because that used to be under a month's. So between 100 and 250, we are under a month's inventory at all four of those. 50 to 100, we did see an uptick, because that was 0.6 if I remember last time. So we did see a few properties come on, and then 4 properties here under 50,000. I know of 2 of them as lots because I have them listed. So there's where you have that. That's probably all going to be land. There's not going to be much available with that. That is Escambia County and Santa Rosa County. Look at this. 291 total active properties. That's it in the entire county. All price points. If you look at the right-hand side of this, there is, do we have one that is 2? Yep. Okay, so 2 months inventory between 350 and 400 and 2.1 between 550 and 600. Besides that, it's under 2 months inventory. And that 100 to 250 mark or 100 to 300 mark, all under a month's inventory. So ridiculously low. I do think that you're going to start to see some of that come out, because January starts our spring buying season, if you will, here in our area. But that's not going to be necessarily reflective for a few weeks, because people are getting ready to put stuff on the market. I've got 2 phone calls I got to make as soon as I finish shooting this with 2 people that have already said, hey, we're ready to go. So we're going to be winding up listing their properties soon. But I don't suspect, because both these properties are in great condition, I do not suspect we'll be on the market very long. If you're a buyer in this type market, you need to have pre-approvals ready to go. Especially if you're using a loan, because there's so much cash floating around there. It seems like every time I put something out, we're getting cash offers, and I don't care the price point. Put a $550,000 property up, got a cash offer within a couple of days. So as a seller, this is a fantastic time. I have never seen inventory this low in my career, and I started in finance and real estate in '93. So I've been doing it a minute. And I have never seen the type inventory levels that we're sitting here showing you right now, sustaining this low. So you're going to start to see headlines about how year over year, when existing home sales come out, the number of sales are going to be way down. And it's just because there's no inventory. It's not that the buyers aren't there. The buyers are absolutely there. The buyers, we've got demand that's way high. It's supply that's really low, and that's continuing to drive prices higher. It's just basic economics. Couple that with mortgage rates still in the 2s, which is ridiculous. So if you're looking at doing anything in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, next couple of months, if you're looking to do anything in 2021, hit me up. Let's have a conversation. Just talk about what our options are. If you've seen the show, and if you actually looked at the show, then you can see that, 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago, like April of 2019 is when I started the show. Go back and watch those first couple of episodes. Forgive me, because they were absolutely horribly done. I was still trying to get my feet wet on this weekly show, but you can still see the numbers. The numbers are still there for you, and you can see where there was buyer's markets and hyper buyer's markets. That was in 2019. They were that way in late 2019. I started complaining about Santa Rosa County, but I've never seen it to where all price points are hyper sellers. All of them. There's not a price point out there. And look at this, $0 to $50,000 in Santa Rosa County. We don't have anything. We had 4 in Escambia County. 2 of them I have listed. But we have nothing in Santa Rosa County. Nothing. Not even a dirt. Not a lot. Nothing. Buyers got to be prepared. When stuff comes on the market, they've got to jump quick. I've had some buyers from out of town that always want to schedule, hey, we can be down there in a week to look at the property. I'm telling you right now, if a property is in good condition, it will not survive a week. It won't. It's not out of the norm for us to put an inspection contingency on these things, and part of that inspection contingency is for you to come walk it. I have probably put 4 houses under contract based on just video. So I'll go take a look at it, walk through it with a video. We'll put it under contract, and we'll just put a contingency of you walking through it within a week if we win. But we're having to negotiate sometimes before you even get here. And it's just because of what you're looking at here. There's no inventory. There's none. So, anyways, it's 2021. I'm glad that 2020 is behind us. I'm not going to be the cliche about that, and we're just going to move forward. I don't want to look backwards. I just want to look forward. So let's find out what 2021 has in store. And I'm sure it's going to be better than last year. I just know it is. I know it is. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.
I'm a man on a mission.
My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there. And
Don't need no permission.
I want to help you get to actual truth.
On a mission.
Don't you just want the truth?